Have you ever been there?
Oh, I know the feeling you're talking about.
You want to speak English, you open your mouth, and silence.
Totally silent. Your mind is full of words, but nothing comes out.
It's like your brain hits a big red stop button.
And usually that stop button is just one thing, worrying about being perfect.
Exactly. We worry too much about grammar and making mistakes, but we need to switch that focus, right? We need practice methods that make speaking automatic.
Welcome to the English Blend. We help you learn English through realistic, friendly conversations.
Today, we're diving deep into practice. The episode is titled, The Power of Repetition, Smart Practice Methods.
Because simple repetition, done smartly, is the key to unlocking that speaking block.
We're talking about moving from hesitant speaking to confident speaking.
Exactly. So grab your coffee and let's get started.
Leo, before we get into the how-to, we have to define what we're aiming for.
That's crucial. Are we aiming for fluency or accuracy?
This is where many learners get stuck. They think they are the same thing.
They are related, sure, but they are very different goals when you are learning a new language.
Let's start with accuracy. What does that mean in English learning?
Accuracy is all about being correct. It means using the perfect verb tense, putting the articles a, an, and the in exactly the right place.
The grammar police inside your head.
Exactly. It's about having perfect sentence structure, perfect spelling, and using high-level vocabulary perfectly.
It sounds exhausting, honestly.
It can be. Accuracy is important for writing, for formal tests, or for detailed reports.
Right. If I'm writing a contract, I need high accuracy. I can't mess up the details.
But if you are speaking to a barista to order a coffee or chatting with a friend at work,
Then you need fluency.
yes, fluency is about flow and communication.
It's the ability to speak smoothly, quickly, and without long pauses while thinking.
It's about being understood even if your grammar is not 100% perfect. Fluency equals communication, not perfection.
I love that definition. Communication, not perfection.
Think of it like driving a car. Accuracy is knowing every single rule of the road, every gear change.
Fluency is just driving the car without hitting anyone, getting where you need to go and not stalling in the middle of traffic.
Perfect analogy. Sometimes pausing to remember the perfect grammar rule means you miss your chance to speak altogether.
And that pause breaks the flow. It stops the conversation.
So many people focus so hard on accuracy that their fluency suffers terribly. They spend 5 seconds figuring out if they should use the simple past or the present perfect continuous.
That's the real loss, isn't it? Losing the conversational momentum.
Absolutely. We are teaching our brains that before we speak, we must complete a complex grammar checklist.
That grammar checklist is the thing that blocks fluency. It's the grammar barrier.
How often do you think native speakers use perfect grammar, Leo?
Almost never. We use shortcuts, we use phrases, we interrupt ourselves, we mix tenses when we're speaking quickly.
We rely on context and repetition. We learned how to speak naturally by hearing and repeating chunks of language, not by memorizing conjugation tables.
That's the core idea of today's episode. Repetition helps you bypass the grammar checker.
When you repeat a structure or phrase enough times, it stops being a grammatical puzzle.
It becomes an automatic unit, a single block of sound.
Let's take a common example. Someone asks you, "Have you been waiting long?"
A learner focused on accuracy might panic. Have been waiting, that's present perfect continuous. Why? Should I say, did you wait long?
But a fluent speaker who has repeated that question contextually many times just understands the structure as one sound package.
They don't analyze it. They just repeat the necessary response. No, just 5 minutes. Or, yes, ages.
The grammar is baked into the repeated phrase. It's automatic.
So the grammar barrier exists because we try to construct sentences in real time, word by word, applying complex rules.
Instead of just retrieving pre-built sentences or phrases that we already know work.
That sounds much less stressful, Leo. Retrieving is easier than constructing.
Much easier. Think about a time when you were learning something physical, like riding a bike or playing a musical instrument.
Repetition is key there. You don't read a manual every time you want to pedal.
You practice the movement until your muscles remember it. That's muscle memory.
We need language muscle memory. Our mouths, our ears, and our brains need to remember the sound and structure of English phrases.
And how do we build that muscle memory?
Through smart, targeted repetition. I want to share a quick story that always makes me feel better about making mistakes. It's almost a cultural note on learning.
Please do. I think everyone needs reassurance that making mistakes is fine.
Okay, so when I was teaching English in Japan, I had a student who was highly academic. Very high accuracy, amazing test scores.
I know these students. They can write a perfect essay on Shakespeare.
Exactly. But she couldn't order lunch without sweating. She was terrified of mixing up it is and it was.
The stakes felt too high for her.
Yes. One day we were talking about weekend plans, and she tried to say, I went shopping, but she was thinking about the grammar and accidentally said, I going shopping.
Classic mix-up, right? Present continuous instead of simple past.
I smiled, and she immediately looked embarrassed. She started apologizing profusely.
Oh dear, the fear of failure is strong.
I told her, wait a second, I perfectly understood you. Where did you go?
You shifted the focus back to the communication.
I did. I explained that in natural conversation, my brain didn't register the grammatical error first. It registered the meaning first. Shopping this weekend? Message received.
That's a great example of fluency winning over temporary accuracy failure.
And I said something that I think is very important. If you speak English perfectly, you sound like a robot. Mistakes show me you're a human learning the language.
That must have been a relief for her.
It was. It's a cultural note, too, I think. Many education systems heavily reward accuracy, so we have to intentionally retrain ourselves to embrace error for the sake of speed.
Error is the cost of practicing fluency. You pay that cost and you gain speed.
And the only way to reduce the errors is not to study more grammar rules, but to repeat the correct patterns until they become automatic.
Repetition fixes the errors, naturally, over time without the pressure of construction.
So let's get into the practical tips now. How do we introduce smart repetition into our daily lives?
We have 3 amazing practical steps for you today. These are things you can start doing right now.
The first step is what we call massive input combined with shadowing.
Massive input simply means listening a lot, hearing the language used naturally.
You need to soak up the sounds, the rhythms, and the phrases. Don't worry about understanding every single word.
That's repetition for your ears and your brain. You're teaching yourself how things sound together.
But listening alone is passive. To make it active, we add shadowing.
Shadowing is brilliant. It's repeating what you hear almost immediately after the speaker says it.
You are mimicking the speaker's speed, tone, and rhythm. You are literally their shadow.
This forces you to repeat structures naturally without thinking about the individual grammar rules.
If you listen to this podcast, try pausing and repeating our last sentence. That's shadowing on a small scale.
You are physically engaging your mouth and tongue muscles, giving them that crucial repetition.
You don't need to understand 100% of the content. The goal here is physical repetition and mimicking flow.
Start small, maybe 10 minutes a day while you are cleaning or commuting.
Find short YouTube clips or podcast snippets that are slightly above your comfort level. A2 to B2 is perfect for the English blend.
And repeat, repeat, repeat. It's the power of repetition applied to listening and speaking at the same time.
It links the listening input directly to the speaking output. It bridges the gap.
If you do this for a month, you will find certain phrases just come out automatically.
That's the language muscle memory kicking in.
Our second tip is focusing on chunks, or phrase repetition.
A chunk is a group of words that are frequently used together. They are blocks of language, not individual words.
Examples are things like, I'm looking forward to, could you possibly tell me, or as far as I know.
We don't analyze these as 5 separate words. We use them as one unit.
Think of them as ready-made Lego blocks for building sentences.
Instead of practicing 100 separate words, practice 20 essential chunks.
Why is repetition so vital here?
If you repeat,
I'm looking forward to 20 times, your brain stores it as a single retrieval unit.
The moment you need to talk about the future with excitement, the whole block pops out.
You don't have to worry about the prepositions or the verb form. It's done.
This bypasses the grammar check entirely.
We spend too much time learning individual nouns and verbs.
And then we get frustrated when we can't link them together quickly.
Focusing on chunks means you are practicing connection from the start.
How can people find these useful chunks?
Listen to natural conversations like ours. When you hear a phrase that sounds useful or common, write it down.
For example, if you hear me say, "That was a tricky situation," you write down, "tricky situation." Then intentionally repeat it aloud 3 to 5 times right after you write it down.
You are building a personal phrase bank, ready for instant access. The repetition ensures the chunk is filed correctly for automatic use.
Make sure the chunks are relevant to your life, too. If you work in an office, repeat phrases for meetings.
If you are mostly dealing with daily life, repeat phrases for shopping or talking about hobbies.
Relevance and repetition are the superpower combination here.
So stop trying to build a perfect house with just individual bricks. Use those ready-made walls and windows.
This is my favorite tip for immediately boosting spoken fluency. The 3-second rule.
Ooh, suspenseful. Tell us more, Leo.
The 3-second rule is simple. When someone asks you a question or when you feel the urge to speak, you must open your mouth and start speaking within 3 seconds.
3 seconds? That doesn't give me much time to run the grammar checklist.
Exactly. That's the point. It forces you to prioritize flow over perfection.
It pushes you past that fear zone.
That tiny window, usually 3 to 5 seconds, is where the grammar checker operates.
It's the moment of hesitation, the internal analysis.
If you break that window by starting to speak, even if you just say, well, or, your brain is now focused on output, not critique.
You are prioritizing the delivery of the message.
The repetition here is the repetition of starting. You are practicing the habit of initiating communication regardless of accuracy.
So if someone asks, "What did you do this weekend?" instead of thinking, past tense, correct verb, wait, should I use hang out or meet up?
You just say, oh, well, this weekend, I watched a film.
Maybe you said, I watch a film by mistake, but the conversation is already flowing.
Yes, and you know what? The listener focuses on the film, not your missing ED ending.
The goal is to survive the 3-second barrier and get your point across.
That brings us nicely to our language focus segment.
We promised you some useful phrases that relate perfectly to this topic of communication and practice.
These are 3 great chunks you can immediately add to your repetition practice.
The first one is a phrase we just used, to get your point across.
This means to successfully communicate your idea or message to someone.
It focuses entirely on the success of the communication, not the elegance of the language.
For example, my grammar wasn't perfect, but I still managed to get my point across in the meeting.
See? Fluency win. The goal was achieved.
Let's repeat that chunk. Get your point across.
Get your point across. Try repeating it with us a couple of times.
This is what smart repetition looks like. It sticks in your memory.
Our second phrase is something we all experience when learning, to hit a wall.
When you hit a wall, it means you reach a point where you cannot make any more progress or you feel stuck and frustrated.
It's the feeling of going round and round without moving forward.
Like when you study the same grammar rule for weeks and still can't use it naturally, you've hit a wall.
The solution when you hit a wall? Stop focusing on perfection and go back to massive repetition and flow.
Use shadowing, use chunks, change your method, don't quit.
Try repeating this one. I hit a wall.
I feel like I've hit a wall with my vocabulary practice.
It's a very natural expression to use when talking about studying or working.
And our final phrase is for reassurance, especially for those worried about accuracy. It's not the end of the world.
If something is not the end of the world, it means the situation is not that serious or terrible.
Making a mistake in English, misusing an article, saying he go instead of he goes.
It's not the end of the world.
It means we can fix it later, or maybe we don't even need to fix it because we were understood.
Repeat that phrase with us now. It's long, but very useful.
It's not the end of the world.
Don't worry about that small mistake. It's not the end of the world. Use it to calm yourself down when you start to freeze up.
Remember, fluency is messy, and that's okay.
And practicing these phrases, getting your point across, hitting a wall, it's not the end of the world, is building your fluency muscle.
Okay, Leo, let's do a quick recap of the power of repetition.
We started by defining our goal, fluency, which is communication, not accuracy or perfection.
We recognize that constantly checking grammar blocks our natural flow, causing us to freeze.
The solution is smart repetition to build language muscle memory and treat common phrases as automatic chunks.
Our 3 practical tips involved different types of repetition.
Tip 1, massive input and shadowing, repeating sounds and rhythms to link listening and speaking.
Tip 2, chunking, repeating useful, ready-made phrases instead of individual words.
Tip 3, the 3-second rule, forcing output quickly to break the habit of internal grammar checking.
And we learned 3 chunks to help us talk about the process. Get your point across, hit a wall, and it's not the end of the world.
Your homework this week is simple. Pick one tip, maybe shadowing for 5 minutes, and repeat that action every single day.
Consistency and repetition will change your English faster than studying advanced verb conjugations.
Don't wait for perfection to start speaking. Start speaking now, repeat naturally, and the perfection will follow later.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of The English Blend. We hope this helps you feel more confident.
We love hearing from you. Tell us which chunk you are going to practice this week.
Next time, we're going to talk about how to practice English when you have 0 free time. Very practical tips for busy people.
That sounds essential. Don't miss it.
That was a great talk.
Yes, see you in the next episode of The English Blend.